Okay.
let me go ahead and okay, got it. Oh, okay. Measure number. So look, so it would be measures 49 to 72. And it's basically where I'm playing
Yeah.
arpeggios. So I mean, you could listen to me play whole notes, but you know, I'm you probably not as interesting. So yeah, so I've got it queued up here. Let me see. Count. Oops, rats. Okay.
What were the
And
measures again?
so it's starting on measure 49 and ending at measure 72. And it's at 80 beats per minute. And I'll go ahead and play just a little bit of it so you can
Okay.
hear the sound of the sound slice, the volume of it.
Yeah.
Okay,
Cool.
that's
Sounds good.
sound slice, and then this is my volume. Okay.
Yeah. I love that you just keep playing that fretless every day. I love it when somebody gets a new instrument and it's like you cannot pry this from my cold dead hands, you know.
Yeah, well, actually, though, when I want you back, I switch back to the fretted one because
I
I
would
have, yeah,
recommend it.
I'm
Yeah.
yeah, my ring finger will not get to the
Yeah.
the the exact position at the right time.
Well, yeah, and those frets give you a more percussive element and shorten the note length. And for the boom, yeah, for those
Yeah,
short punchy notes, yeah, you pretty much got to have the frets.
yeah, and well, and it's I mean, I would try, but it's just like I can't get this. It's something I'll work on, but because I do at one point want to be able to get this finger
Yeah,
to get to the right
yeah,
exact
yeah,
position quickly,
yeah,
but not now.
yeah. I gotcha.
Okay. Okay. So got it sound size. So we have a one measure count in on this. Okay. Oh wait. Oh,
Nice.
I actually lost. I actually
That's
lost
all right.
track on that one, but
That's okay. That's all right. Yeah, and that's such a cool part. It's such a cool part to hear and get that. Yeah, and getting that hand, position, getting that stretch, and it's always these two fingers. These two are pretty easy to get, but getting that third and then that fourth. Um, but that's great, and I love that you figured out just how to get the open strings into that.
uh-huh.
It really makes it more playable. Oh, that's a cool cup you got there, Paul Thomas. And yeah,
25 years old.
yeah. Very cool. Yeah, can we do it one more time, Keiko?
Sure.
Let me, and
Okay.
I'll mute and I'll play along too, just because that's so much fun.
Let me see.
Nice. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Super cool. And I
Yeah.
like these difficult songs, taking in the longer songs, just taking them section by section and running that.
Yeah, and actually, so this one for me, what's hard is that the arpeggios are similar as you go along, but not the same.
Yeah.
And so it's like, oh no, on this one, it's slightly different. And so I have to remember where I am. And yeah, it's just, it's
Yeah.
not the same thing repeated each time. It's just like it changes slightly.
Yeah,
So.
for sure. Yeah, very cool. And it's fun play. I was playing that uke one part, two, three, 2, 3. It's kind of cool. How those two parts work. Awesome. Nice. All right. Well, how about another part of, or another section, or another part, another instrument on this piece? Anybody have a?
It's pretty rough yet, but I could do the same section on you too.
Okay, cool.
I have, like I admitted a little while ago, been lazy with my practice, so
And
let me see if I can figure out how to get the sound to come out. You were about to say something?
oh, I'll just shut up and listen. I'll get all the information I need once you start playing. Um,
Let's see, let's test the volume.
yeah. If we could see the uke, that's
No,
not
that's a
too much
secret.
to ask.
Yeah, I'll fix that in a second. Let me turn on the count in. And there's the camera.
All right. Awesome.
Pretty good?
Yeah.
All right. All right. Let's give it a go. Better stop there. I haven't figured out what to do with my hands in that next section.
Oh, nice. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's cool. Yeah, my question was where you were playing the C in that eighth fret. I think it's a really good choice of place to play that, and going for full classical style is a brave move. And Jay, has spent years and years on this, and I have not. But I would be curious which approach would be better to just go, let's get the whole hand organized and working correctly, or let's get these two fingers going and then add that third. And so you're playing that weak finger is doing a lot of work, and that da, 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 and to get the form of that, and some of it is getting it more toward the wrist a little bit, and not a pop, not up, but this where we're using, it's just actually a bigger muscle group. It's very hard to see how classical guitar players or ukuleles do that, but it's really easy to kind of do a more of a gross movement, but eventually, and this is where, like with this finger, it's just really the same on the bass as well. It's just a bigger string, and so it gets you that. But that this whole thing, this mechanism, is just delivering the sound toward, if I'm just playing that D, I can. It's just like the tone goes out the window as soon as my third finger gets there. It's like pretty good there. And versus, it takes so long to get that third finger. That I'm of the mindset, in a lot of classical methods are like, let's get this finger, then get these two, but this is like a long-term study. So I might suggest trying to just toggle between strings 1, 2, and 3 with these two to start to get that. And once you get the first finger doing it, the second finger will follow, and the third finger. But there's, if we're like bouncing off the string, it's probably not. Or if we're like this kind of grip, it's a very particular weird thing. But to get this where it's like running to me, or swimming or something, where you've got this, it's going back. Just like if you really studied, even walking or running, it's crazy. You can't explain to somebody how to do it and how to do it well, but that in the same way that like your foot is gonna have to go back and do this relaxation, that the finger kind of does that same thing and comes back.
Well, I really haven't worked on exactly the finger motions, but it is somewhat natural for me to just give each finger one job, and you play the string, and you don't move to any other string.
Yeah.
So that's the reason I'm doing that, but I really haven't worked on evening out the tone of the fingers and that sort of thing.
Yeah. And it's a slower, longer job if you're doing all three fingers, but it's also where everybody wants to end up. So it's a cool thing.
I think that part is essentially the same thing that the one part is doing right before you do that riff. And that's all I'm using.
Okay.
This guy doesn't even get involved because I'm using a lot of thumb. Those pedal notes I'm playing with my thumb. Back on, back on, back on, back on, dee da dee da dee da dee dee da dee da dee da dee. My thumb's moved up to the third string a lot for that chunk.
Yeah.
If that helps.
All right. Well, I haven't even tried it with without the ring finger, so I'll just give it a try.
Yeah, and the thing that will happen is that you'll hear and once the tone starts happening, you go, oh, whoa, 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 here it can really sing, and then you get then this finger starts making it sing, and that's what I hear when I'm playing. Is like this finger really makes it sing. This finger pretty much makes it sing. This finger not so much, and it like kills my soul.
I've noticed that my ring finger, so I guess I have started to notice the tone of my fingers. It's really sensitive to exactly where the nail is.
Yeah.
Like if it's just a little too long, or if it's got anything at all weird going on with the nail, then I can hear it.
Yeah, but that's cool. It's an awesome part, and it's and it is. You get the Uke One experience beforehand. Very cool. All right, thank you. Who else is here? While we're on Paul Thomas, do you have anything to throw down on the nature of daylight, which is such a heartbreakingly sensitive song,
I haven't actually spent much time on it, but it's pretty straightforward for me. I'm playing Uke 3. So I just played along with those 6 measures, and that's pretty easy. I don't know that I want to do the first 48 measures because I haven't actually ever played it. And even though it's so simple, I'll probably get a note wrong. I could do the 49 through 72 again.
Yeah,
If you
let's
want to
do it. Yeah.
why not? Um, let's see. Actually, I have to get a metronome going because I don't have two screens, and I use Sound Slice a lot. But when I'm doing this class, I have to use my iPad and real sheet music. What's the tempo again? 80? Is that right? You don't hear that? Okay, so I can't hear you for some reason. So I'll give a 4 count in, and I'll play start at 49. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's a little you kind of want to hold those notes, but they're just quarter notes, so I keep cutting them off, and I'm not picking them real subtly. But what do you think?
Yeah, it sounds good. And that's the name of the game there, is trusting the arrangement and that the other parts are carrying. And so it's just like this ding, ding. It's like a triangle part or a bell or something. And it's just this short little line. And these lines get kind of, it's like a relay or something, they get passed from one the baton gets passed for these parts at different times, but you've also got, that beat 4 part happening with the legato beat 3 part of Uke 1. And so let me play that for you. Let's see. So you hear what I'm talking about. And this can help. So I'll take out Uke 2, which is doing all of this work, and I'll take out the bass, which is doing a lot of work, and I have a baritone part. So here, 1, 2. You can barely hear that. So that little conversation, just to be aware of that, I think it gives us 3, 4, 3, 4, which is kind of cool. But then when we throw in the whole thing, it's hard to keep it all in your head. I muted everything instead of put everything in. Uh, but I want you to hear it in your head. So just, here we go. And this one's such a good one for that light touch and the sensitivity of just the lightness of it, and the it's not. You wouldn't play this one like you would play ZZ Top. It'd be a little different touch, I think. Very cool. Jay, you wanna try a section?
Let's go with the my busy part. So 25 through 48. So
Okay.
so measure 25. So I'll use the metronome device. Is that loud enough?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. All right. I'll give us a count in. Measure 25. One measure. One, two, three, four. That's it. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Nice. And then it's a cool. I see what you were talking with that thumb and that
Yeah,
kind of
that's
touch.
really, it's mostly this.
Yeah,
I very little even,
yeah, yeah. And it's such a nice part. It's such a part for just developing the requisite light touch that
yeah.
the ukulele has, and it's also a great part for dialing in the tempo and the rhythm, and realizing it's all in the right hand. And you just and that this hand just delivers the note, the sound there, but this is igniting that, and you find the rhythm with that right hand for us right-handers. Cool. Well, let's go on. Um, we'll go. Um,
I have another question about
oh
that
yeah, yeah,
part
yeah.
before we change.
Yeah, you bet.
So I've got some open string or two at times, I think, that are very easy to make. They seem to make more noise than the strings I'm intentionally plucking.
Right.
So what do you suggest? Should I just make my right hand stop touching? I guess it's my right hand to blame. I should probably figure out for sure who's causing the noises that I don't want.
So can you just give us an example? You mean the sympathetic strings are ringing?
Yeah, and I know that I occasionally will just hit them with an accidental pluck. With
Got
my
it.
right hand is
Okay.
moving,
Okay.
hits a
So,
string it doesn't intend,
uh,
or when my left hand is moving, I'll sort of pluck it with a kind of a pull off kind of a thing.
yeah, yeah. And so, and this is the thing. Once your ear gets attuned to it, it's kind of devastating. You're just like, oh God, I'm adding all these notes that sound horrible, or they're just barely there. And now we're in the key of C minor, C, D, E flat, F, G, A flat, B flat, C, and so that second string and the first and second string open are going to really sound horrible, especially the major third against the minor third. And so that's something to know. And then that's in, I think when, yeah, so that part's all fretted, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
you're talking. Can you give me a measure or
What were you?
oh, okay. Like those double stops and
Yeah. But I was thinking more like the. I guess it's 48. Anyway, just generally any music I play, I've started to hear nothing but the notes I accidentally play
yeah.
instead of the ones
Well, then you're on the right path, and it's a painful path. But yeah, and wanting to hear, like if I played 46, you know, that's what's there. That's what's there. That's what's there. But if I played, oh boy, it's like, hey, suddenly Camille Saint-Saëns and Thelonious Monk are like, hey, let's add some, you know. But if you add, if the C or G get added in this key, and this is where every key is a different thing, but this is the one. This is the sound, of the G sharp and the D. Beautiful sound. And oh boy. And even if those are still ringing, because you're coming from these strings, and so yeah, it takes some time to get that. And those, every uke's a little different. And the blackbirds,
Yeah, this new uke is like,
you
it's
know, yeah,
it's more about the notes I don't play than the notes I do play. It seems like
yeah.
anymore.
So this is where your your 4-digit approach, that is the easiest solving of that problem. And you've got you just kind of leaving those fingers there. There's no sympathetic reaction with that, but it's either your left hand or your right hand has to stop those. But that's a thing every once in a while. That's the thing is conducting this group that it can drive me crazy. And when you get like that E major, the E natural note in the key of C minor, but then 3 ukes are playing it and they're out of tune. It's just like it's not even. It's just this whole like and and at the same time, it just takes. That's why imagine if you were playing cello and this note is ringing out. This extra. It's like it would just stop everything and like fix that now. It's like that we can't have the music won't work. But the ukulele, it's so small and it doesn't take up the sonic space and doesn't have the sustain. But it the more I get into ukulele, it is such a like for musicianship, it's a great instrument because you really have to listen and really feel it. And then when you go to a bigger instrument, it's like, oh wow, it's like you could really dial in those smaller things. But yeah, welcome to the that's like one of those things that we've all been doing that all along. It's just we don't notice until we notice. And then it's kind of like, it's kind of shocking and sad.
The other thing, and Kevin's talked about this before, I think, if you've got that F and B flat thing, and you've got a string in between, if this higher finger, if it can be a little bit lazy, it can essentially kill it, and it'll eliminate that stray note. If you play really nice and arched, then that note can show up. So sometimes it's nice to have lazy fingers when you need them.
Right.
To kill a note, to keep you from accidentally straying. It's fun.
Yeah.
I've been trying to learn that a little bit, but it's not an easy thing.
And then
I have lazy fingers when I don't want them, but the rest of the time they do exactly what I thought they were supposed to do.
yeah, and the non-adjacent strings are really good practice. And this is where like this approach, I love it because if we're just sitting and strumming chords, none of this ever matters. You never really see it. But when you're playing these parts and it's a musical part and it's for another instrument, because none of this, except the songs I've composed, were composed for ukulele. And so the fingerings are just going to be wonky, and they're going to make you such a better musician. And every piece just has something different to show you. But I feel like I want to both congratulate you and console you in that discovery, because it's one that we hopefully make, but it's one that's like a little bit like I notice it, you know, in a solo playing, you know, when you're, that's where it's really hard. And it's really sad. And like if you're in a recording studio with like $20,000 worth of microphones in front of this and preamps and compressors, and then you're like, what's that? You know, it's like, oh, it's me. What? Uh-oh. Yeah, it gets tricky. But yeah, a great detail. Let's jump over to Pavan. Why not? Because this has some similarities. And let's just try. I'm loving this, by the way. And this one, I am still so in debate on. I've heard it played different ways where the staccato-ness is like a simile, you know, you play it that same way the whole way through. But when I really listen to these orchestras do it, it's bum 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 bum. It softens and lightens when the flute comes in. And that staccato-ness at the beginning sets up the rhythm. And as a listener, I think you feel it the whole way, but it's not there anymore. So, you know, these things are, you know, to me, it's like a little bit of a rough edge if it only happens on measure one. But it's really effective. And I've seen it written both ways. I've seen people interpret it both ways. I haven't gone to the IMSLP thing to see if I can find the original manuscript. But those things are often so hard to read, you can't even tell what's going on. But let's do this. Let's just do a playthrough, and I'll lead it here. I always love playing this tune. Yeah, all right. Okay. And so this is at 72, and it'll sound about like that. All right. All right. Here we go. And 1, 2, 3, 4. cool. Yeah, it's a sweet little piece. I forgot that little middle section with the triplets. Always kind of you got to be ready for that one. Where is that? Yeah, like at 18. That um, I think it's a great practice to get that fifth position and get that extra reach there with that little finger. Anybody want to play a part?
Yeah, I'll play U3. I've worked on this a fair amount, but then I always there's always a measure somewhere, but it's random where I'll just lose my concentration and I'll do something wrong, but then I'll just catch up. Um, so we're playing this
72.
72, right? Okay, and again, I'm just gonna do the like a metronome, and we'll see how it goes.
All right.
Try to put my screen a little better here, so.
All right, thanks.
One, two, three, four.
Nice, very cool, man. Yeah, and that's a fun one, and yeah, it's cool. The trick on those syncopated parts is really I try to breathe on the rest. Dun 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 dun. But if I don't, it can go dun 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 dun. You know, it constricts, and it's such a subtle thing, like the feeling of it expanding, and that can help steady it just a little bit, and just making sure we're it's hard, I think, in life, to know when we're taking up too much space or not enough space, in a lot of ways, but that how that note length, dun dun dun, dun dun dun, and then once you get into it, you relax. But there's this other thing when the metronome is going and you are right with that. There's this almost swing. It's a polyrhythm because there's a 1, 2, 3, 4, bum bum bum, bum bum bum, bum bum bum, and you can attune to where your note you're playing collides with the metronome, and they land just right. And ideally, everybody's doing that. But there's this way to get, like the metronome is an instrument, and it takes practice. But that sounded good, and it was nice, and I felt like you got a little more relaxed, about 12 or 15 bars into it, and that's the way it is. And the
Yeah,
funny thing, yeah.
I was just say, when I'm playing with Sound Slice, that like syncopated part in the beginning is easier to get more correct. When it's just with a metronome and I'm not hearing the other pieces, it's hard to not be a little off for
Oh
me.
yeah. And it takes practice with that. And then the thing that happened, when we're all together, is that I may count 1, 2, 3, 4, dun 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 dun. It is like, okay, let's try this again. It will take, everyone gets excited, and it's like, there's a lot, and it just takes a while to actually just do it by the numbers in that way. And every day is a little different, for people. And I think if we did this all the time, for you it might be different at 9 in the morning than it is at 3 in the afternoon, in general, and those kinds of things. But it sounded good. Anybody else, Paul? It just
Sure.
went to you for some reason, so I guess that.
Yeah. That tip about the breathing, I think it certainly feels natural, and I think I may have been doing it without realizing it. But take a breath on that rest. Seems like the thing to do.
Yeah, and it's as if you're singing it, and you are. You're just singing it with your fingers. Yeah.
No, forgets when I change songs, it forgets I want to play a count in.
Yeah, that's one of my least favorite things about Sound Slice.
Yeah. I don't like some of its default settings either, but that's okay. I know where to change them.
Yeah.
Is that the ukulele volume relative to Sound Slice okay?
I think so, yeah.
All right. Well, I don't know how that happened. The little orange bar was not over there when I clicked play. Let's try again. All right, here we go. forgot to move my camera down. Sorry.
That's all right. See it and hear it. Man, that sounded great. The tone was real nice and very in that piano, soft, delicate kind of hushed, dulcet tones of yeah, French parlor music or whatever this is. Very cool. Yeah, nice to
I've
hear.
been, I don't know why, but somehow I've been struggling to get the right volume from my thumb when I play this. It sounded better just then than it has been when I've played it by myself. So
Yeah, yeah,
something's
and it can
happened.
be. Sometimes it can be like, I feel like each instrument and each song has something to teach us, or a lot to teach us. But sometimes it's just the motion and getting it dialed in, and then some days it's just easy, and then some days it's your thumb does something different. It's just,
Yeah.
and it takes a while to get that. But that sounded great. Yeah, it felt good, and right in the pocket rhythmically. And it's a cool part. It's a weird
It's
part,
a fun
kind of,
part.
but it's cool to hear that. Yeah, it made me think. I might want to pull some of these parts out in a performance. Where it's just that part only for like a couple measures. And so I think sometimes the listeners like to hear all the little parts and then hear it together. Well, let's see. Keiko, you got any bassness?
Sure, I can go ahead and do this, the pavane. Let me go ahead and okay. Okay. Hmm, count.
And if you think it's hard stopping sympathetic strings on a ukulele, try it on a bass. An electric one, especially, those just ring and
Yeah. Okay, so I've got it on Sound Slice, and so it's Pavan, and the beats permitted on this one is 72, and I
yeah.
think yeah, and we got a yeah, it's got the count in there.
All right.
Okay.
Very nice. Yeah, cool. And it's such a good experience to feel the bass part and get all of these individual parts. Well, my my clock says 12:15. That I think is a good 75-minute workout. Um, and let's, does everyone expect to be here next week? Okay, then we can compound our time. Let's work on I Want You Back next week. And something tells me that may take a while. And then we can look at a couple other tunes. But yeah, it's nice, and yeah, it's good to see y'all and good to hear, and just we'll be real about this and make it work one way or another. And I'll see Keiko in about 15 minutes, and I'll see y'all next week. Thanks a bunch.
Cool. Thanks.
All right.
See you.